what I'm looking at. It's a product that I'll use forever. It's really a good product. That being said, the way we did this is Mr. Heinzman and I, member of the Newaygo County Road Commission, we spent a day in a truck driving around at roads that the Newaygo County Road Commission, with their evaluation process, thought we ought to take a look at. Now, I will tell you this, we came up with 8 distinct projects. There's no way in the world we can execute 8 projects in 1 year. We do not have the funds for that. That being said, now we'll talk about what we can do, okay? Some of you have gotten my little handout that we had here. And for those of you that don't, I'll walk you through it. This plan is designed to make maximum utilization of township road village funds in fiscal years 2013, 14, and 15 to improve, maintain as much roadway as possible, given funds available of $195,000 for each fiscal year. That's what the road millage brings in each and every year. All work to be completed by the Newaygo County Road Commission, which is a tremendous savings for those of us in the township, because if you didn't have those guys doing that engineering work, you'd be hiring an A&E. And automatically, you're going to put 15% more in every single project that we try to do. So thank you, Newaygo County. I had a lot of help developing this too. I was the chief architect, but I had Chris Hadley helping me, Morgan Heinzman helped me, Rick Howarth helped me, and of course the Newaygo County Road Commission. When I started out, I had to take a look at what assets we have, and the assets that Mr. Heinzman gave me and I verified was $615,082 that we have road millage money sitting there for us to expend. Now, take $100,000 off of that, which is for the pathway project, which will not impact the execution of doing all of our roads in the slightest. The balance at the start of this plan is $515,082 that we have to help maintain our roads. Whenever you do a project like this, you take a long, hard look at those factors, and you have to make some assumptions on what may impact bringing the project to fruition. The total funds available for each year, 2013 to 14 to 15, will be constant at $195,000. This plan will address improved and unimproved roads. A contingency emergency fund of $200,000 will be maintained. What we're saying there, we take that $200,000, which we will not, under any circumstances, touch. That's coming off of that $515,000. Well, why are we doing that? Because there are things that can happen, unforeseen things, that you need to have backup money just in case you have a severe road failure or something. You need to be able to address it. That contingency money is strictly for that. $40,000 will be set aside each year from the $195,000 for unimproved roads. That includes gradings and brinings. In years past, we did 3 brinings. This plan kicks it up to 4 brinings. All construction to be executed by the Newaygo County Road Commission. Flexibility. I built flexibility into this plan. Any change to this plan will be considered on a case-by-case basis by the Township Board. What do I mean flexibility? There's a chunk of change in this plan, about $150,000, that if we have some citizens who come in here and tell us we need to get our rear ends out there and take a look at the road because there's a road that's seriously failing, we have the capability to go out there, do an assessment on that road, get with the Newaygo County Road Commission, put some dollars and cents to it, and this board then has the opportunity to vote on that to see if we can put it into our plan to move it up. So we have some flexibility. Do not think that this is it. What I briefed tonight, it's the plan, but it can be modified based upon what you all bring to us that we need to be concerned with. Road village reserve funds may be utilized to execute an unfinanced demand or make up an identified shortfall in any given fiscal year covered by this plan. This plan will utilize emerging technology to maintain roads. Just because we did it that way for 20 years doesn't mean we're going to continue down that path. If new technology comes out and we can do something better, we will definitely work with the Newaygo County Road Commission to incorporate that in our plan. Projected costs for projects may rise by 10% in the out years. it has been my experience when you put a plan like this into being, the first year right on the money, the second year you're pretty good. Come the third year, you may have as much as a 10% increase. This plan not only identifies the possibility of that, but it takes that into account and money's there that we can do it. Cost escalations will not impede project execution. Will not happen. Okay. Now we get into what we're actually looking at doing. I'm going to read this list to you because it's a laundry list, but I want you to get some idea of the costs of doing business. First project, wedge and reseal 56th Street between Croton Drive and New Costa. It's 3.6 miles. That's $131,100. Wedge and overlay 92nd Street between Locust Avenue and Elm Avenue. That's 1 mile. That's $119,200. Wedge and overlay 52nd Street between Elm Avenue and Locust Avenue. That's 1.1 miles. $110,500. Wedge and reseal Swan between M82 and 86th Street and 86th Street between M82 and Pear between 86th Street and 92nd, and 92nd Street between Pear and Elm, 2.3 miles for $104,800. Wedge and reseal 52nd Street between Elm Avenue and Locust Avenue, 1.1 miles, cost $52,250. Wedge and reseal Locust Avenue between 92nd Street and Township Line, 0.5 of a mile, $22,500. Wedge 80th Street between Locust Avenue and Pettit Lake Drive, cost $18,750. The total cost of the plan that the Newaygo County Road Commission came up was $607,600. Okay? Now, having run the numbers and played with this a bunch of times, I went out to these roads at least a half dozen times to look at it and to count cars and to count houses and figure out what some sort of priority of what we need to do. What I'm proposing for the first year of this plan, FY 2013 and 14, improved roads projects 1 and 7, which is 4.1 miles total. Number 1 is wedge and seal 52nd Street between Croton Drive and New Costa, wedge and reseal Locust Avenue between 92nd Street and Township Line. That's a cost of $153,600. Unimproved roads will have available $41,400, which will more than cover the 4 grindings and what we plan on doing. In addition to this, I am recommending that we have an unfinanced demand, projects 4 and 8. Project 4 is wedge and reseal Swan and wedge 80th Street between Locust Avenue and Pettit Lake. That is a cost of $123,550. That money will be taken out of that $515,000 that I briefed you on at the beginning of this. The first year, we will expend $318,550. So we actually end up executing about 165% on the first year. The second year of this plan, 2014 and 15, improved roads projects 2 and 5. Project 2 is wedge and overlay 92nd Street between Locust Avenue and Elm. And number 5 is wedge and reseal 52nd Street between Elm Avenue and Locust Avenue. And that's $171,450. Unimproved roads, $23,550. We end up having to take money out of the fund that we have to make sure that we cover it. And the total expenditure, we actually take out $16,450. The total expenditure for roads in the second year of this plan is $211,450, about 110% of execution of the money we get in. The last year is projects 3 and 6, wedge and overlay 52nd between Elm and Locust, and wedge and reseal Pine Avenue south of Croton. The cost is $159,000. We have available for unimproved roads $36,000. We end up adding $4,000